Hello and welcome once again to Exit Strategy, the podcast that asks comedians, if you weren't doing comedy, what would you do with your life? We got a great show for you. I got a great guest right off the bat. You hear that? That's my fiance, Amber Kenny.
Hello. Do you ever think it's crazy that you say welcome to the exit?
Whoa.
Just blew your
Blew
mind.
my mind, man. I always have you here at full disclosure, everybody.
Oh, no. How the sausage is made.
Full disclosure. We don't have a plush studio space like some shows. Yet. Like your Mark Maron's or your several other names. We do it at my apartment. We record all of these shows at my house, and then sometimes my lovely fiance, Amber Kenny, has to be in a room just sitting silently. And I'm like, well, let's bring you out of the bedroom and have you be a part of this intro.
Put me in, coach. I'm ready to play.
This is an added bonus attraction, no charge.
I'm not the guest today.
She's not the guest today. She's just helping me out to tell you all about what this show is. Today on the show, we both know this guest. We both just hung out with him in Cambria, California at a wedding.
Guy.
Great
I feel
guy.
like one of the nicest guys, unanimously.
Yeah, I think
and
he would
so funny.
definitely win that.
I've never heard anyone not like him.
We're talking about Ahmed Bharoocha. He's a comedian who he's having some great career success right now. He's got an album out.
Deservedly.
He just did another set on television. He was on the Colbert show just a little bit ago. And now he's also a brand new dad. Can you believe it?
So much.
I know. We've seen him grow from a young man to a young man with a kid.
And a career.
And a career. It's funny when you do this business for this long that you see people's lives change.
So much.
Whoa. And
Welcome to the exit. You hate it.
Welcome to the exit, man. That should be the new theme song. But I'm about to talk to Ahmed. We talk about exit strategies. Obviously, we do that every week. But also, he's a new dad, and I'm curious what it's like to be that because he's on TV. How do you balance being a comedian on television and also have a baby at home?
It's crazy.
How do you do it? You're going to find out in just a bit. And before you go, Amber,
Yeah.
you've been podcasting for a long time.
Almost a decade.
On the Long Shot podcast.
Oh, thanks for the plug, baby.
You're very welcome. What is the most important thing fans can do to help a podcast out? It's so easy.
Oh, my God. It couldn't be easier. You rate and leave a review of the podcast on Apple Podcasts.
iTunes.
It's not.
It's not iTunes
anymore. It's called Apple Podcasts.
Oh, is that why people aren't leaving reviews?
Yeah. That's why I paused. It's called Apple Podcasts.
Go to your Apple Podcast app and leave a review, rate, review, subscribe if you haven't, and and honestly, if you don't want to review this podcast, I would be curious to see what else you would review. So review anything, but leave a star review, and then that helps the podcast. It helps mine. It helps the long shot. Mm-hmm. So take it from an expert.
It helps other people find the podcast.
It shoots you up the algorithm. It's search engine optimization, folks. We don't have time to get into it.
Whoa.
It's time to get into the interview with Ahmed Bharoocha. Amber, thank you so much for stopping by the studio.
It's been a pleasure, Jeff. Hopefully I'll see you soon.
We'll see you in a little bit. All right, let's talk to Ahmed. You're not in one of those super fancy condos.
No, it's like it's a house like in Cypress Park.
Yeah,
which I never heard about.
where is Cypress Park?
It's like Highland Park, kind of, but just lamer.
Low key Highland Park.
Yeah.
It's not where the hip. But is it one of those places where it's gonna get hip, or is it just
Doesn't
never
feel
gonna
like
be
it.
hip? It's not ever gonna get hip.
Yeah, it would be nice if it did, but it
Yeah.
seems pretty like just kind of families, like
Yeah.
not much going on.
Well, you're the one that brings in the
Yeah,
excitement.
that's true.
You got to start the party.
Yeah.
And you can be like, hey, you guys want to hang out at my house at Cypress Park? And then, like, for a solid 5 years, no one's ever going to know where where is that?
What?
And then eventually they'll be like, oh, God, Ahmed lives in Cypress Park. The parking sucks. I hate it. I want to do that. I want to get out of this neighborhood, but it's to the point where, and you experience this. You live down the street.
Yeah.
This neighborhood is like all your rents, lock them down in amber and never leave them.
Yeah,
like,
that's what was so hard to leave.
Just like a $500 a month.
So I think Abby wanted to leave like before we had the baby, and I was like, wow. I was just like, can we have the baby and see like what life is like after that? And then so I felt more like ready to move, and like it was like, all right, I know what having a baby's like now, because before it was just like I can't imagine moving and having a baby.
It's all it's speculative.
Yeah,
to like an insane degree of like,
can we do either?
I'm gonna find a new neighborhood, live in a new home, and have a new human being that I take care of. Oh my god, how is the adjustment of fatherhood going for you?
It's huge adjustment. I really like the fatherhood part.
Yeah,
it's hard to do the other stuff. I think like
that's what I was gonna ask. Now you're on month. I'm sorry, you said
9 months.
9 months. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you're almost coming up on the 1 year.
Yeah.
Is that like, you got to forgive my baby ignorance?
No, I wouldn't know until it happened.
Yeah. like at what stage are we talking, like walking?
So he's not walking, but he can like stand up and like kind of walk along like the like couch or something, which I think that's like early-ish. Like I think at 1 is when they walk.
They actually
around.
can put the legs in
but
motion,
he seems pretty determined for like that stuff. He doesn't have any teeth or like some things he's behind, but like with like moving, he's like he kind of figured out how to crawl pretty quickly and then was done with it. It was just like, I hate crawling.
I'm over it.
Let me stand. Let me walk.
That is the one thing, because I only knew parenting from my parents, and then I had younger siblings, and because we're comedians, all the people in my lives, they have such a stunted like growing up period.
Yeah.
So like I'm just now getting to the phase where my contemporaries have kids, and I'm seeing what that's like, and it seems like endlessly fascinating to watch the daily progression.
It's so cool. Like I'll leave for like a couple days for like the road, and then come back, and there's like new stuff's happening, and we're like, what the fuck?
He knows how to do that.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god. But is it easier? I want to. I have so many questions about how this, because I have questions about being a father at this age, and I also have questions about being a stand-up at this age. So I don't know if I do want to get to this, but I'm very fascinated just about how in 2018, because you are on the road, but also because everybody has them. Like, are you able to just get video of everything? Like,
I have way too much video.
That's
like,
what
I'm almost worried about. Like, I'm like, is this an unhealthy obsession I have? I'm capturing every moment of his life, and then it's just going to be available for like him to watch. Like, is that a good thing to have? Is like
it's
you can
a
just
totally
watch
new
your
thing.
life. Like, what was my life like?
What specific day?
You can just put all these videos together and be like, "This is my life."
I can put your life together. I can map out where you were, like by the week, like specific locations. This is geotagged. It's like a whole new world, because when I grew up, my family, well, it was just photos. So you had like a limitation of how many you could take. But then also we didn't have a video camera. So there's no footage of me pre like 10 years old, which is kind of, it feels weird. You know?
Yeah, even with my parents, I think we have like some video of them when they're like kids, and when you see it, it like blows your mind. Yeah. But now that's just going to be like, oh yeah, that's what Dad was like when he was. You can watch your dad's life. What's your grandfather's life? Like in like 100 years, you're just going to be watch everyone in your family's like whole life.
But for us, it's just like you have to speculate what they're like.
Yeah, which makes it more interesting.
Yeah. But then also, I have no answers to any questions, because like, I don't know, a solid decade of family vacations and trips. I'm just like, I have foggy memories of them, but all these kids now are just going to be like, I know.
And I wonder if it's good for you or bad for you.
Yeah, we're finding out. You're going to be, your baby's going to be the test study. You're parenting this new frontier. Now let's talk about stand-up and how that deals with, or how that jives with being a father. You are kind of on a run here. I mean, you've had like a Colbert appearance recently.
Yeah,
you've got an album out. You're working the road.
Yeah.
How do you juggle? First off, being away, but also getting yourself in a position where you feel prepared to charge people money to see you do comedy.
Yeah, it's been pretty hard. I think. Like, well, I feel like before a kid, or even it probably happened even with marriage and just being older, I guess. I write less and I just focus on it less. So I do feel like out of it a little bit.
Yeah.
I still can do it because I've been doing it for like 13 years, so it's kind of like a muscle.
Yeah, there's an instinct.
But like now when I go on the road, it'll be probably a little while, maybe a few weeks since the last time I did like an hour set. Yeah. So that first day back on the road, you're like, okay, what jokes do I do? Luckily, I have the album now, and like sometimes I'll just like re-listen to it to be like, okay, I know these jokes. Yes.
You always have that.
Yeah.
I can
like,
study for the
test.
Like
what is that chunk that I do? And like I could go like refresh.
Yeah.
So that helps. But yeah, I feel like I'm not as invested in it as much, which sucks for like because I still love it. But like I'm just not, my mind's not on it. So I'll be like, playing with a baby all day for days upon days, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, go and do stand up for like 4 days in a row.
Yeah.
Which is nice to have like the ramp up, because it'll be like, oh, the first day I'll just recite my album, and then maybe the next day I'll
get into the rhythm
more loose, try some new stuff. But then I'm not writing new stuff as often. So yeah, I'm still kind of, I think, figuring out what that is, the growing pains of. And I also think I can't blame just the baby. I think just creative wise, like I just have like slowed down.
I think
being
you're right.
prolific. Yeah,
I've noticed that too. Yeah. I think just as you get older, because when you're in your 20s, it's like this
you're
is
hungry.
where all my friends are. I'm gonna see them every day.
Yeah.
I love doing this, but now like sometimes I just want to rest and not do anything.
Yeah, for sure. Like that's actually I kind of am in this zone where I've done stand-up since I was 20.
Yeah.
And I really love stand-up, but sometimes I forget, like, what I'm doing. I'm like, okay, I know I like going into a room and making people laugh. Like, that feels nice. Like, but I don't know exactly what I want from it, Like,
yeah.
because you can go and you can do your jokes and you could do well. Maybe you might not, like, do the best ever, but you can function. You could be like, here's some jokes I've already told. I know how to, like, navigate through them. But what are you getting out of it?
The next
thing? Like if the crowd loves it, what happens? Or if they don't love it, like it's almost sometimes you realize, like, especially when you're on the road, unless you do so bad where this place is gonna like not have you back.
Yeah,
you're like, wow, okay, it felt nice a little bit, but what is this? Like
I kind of
just going telling the same joke. It's a job. You're just kind of punching in the numbers sometimes. Yeah. So I'm trying to figure out a way to like come out of that and be like, well, what excites me? When I have like a new joke that excites me, but you can't just have a new joke.
There's no like, okay, now I'm the senior vice president of me.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't get promoted. I just do it more.
Yeah.
Do you find though, with having the baby, that you have has that shifted your perspective from where you're coming at as a comedian at all?
I think a little bit so far, not too much. Maybe that it is making it more fun again, because maybe before the baby I was a little bored with stand-up, but now when I go, it's a treat.
Yes.
Where I'm like, oh, I'm out of the house and like doing adult things with adult humans.
Yeah.
So it almost makes it, whereas before maybe it felt like live or die, like, oh, I have to get better at stand-up. I have to get the next thing to... I don't know why. Just you want it. You
gotta get that show and that.
But now you're like, oh, this is a fun thing that we do.
Yeah.
And so it kind of maybe makes me realize that, that it's not as serious as I thought it was before. Well, it's serious where that's my job and I want to keep doing it and keep making money from it and keep enjoying it. But it's also like, oh, if it doesn't go any further than this is really fun.
Yeah.
And I should realize that
it's a pleasure.
I'm out making people laugh for fun.
It's not a bad gig.
Yeah, so that's kind of maybe that's helped me realize that.
Paul Denke had that same...
Really?
He expressed that same sentiment, because I was asking him, like, where do you find the time to write? And he said that when you carve out the time to do it, it's more special and it feels more productive because it's like a window of time.
Yeah, you treat it like that.
Yeah.
Which I need to do that. I've just been lazy a little bit.
Well, he's an old pro.
Yeah.
He's been doing it a while. You're new to this. You're getting into it. Have you brought in the family material yet? Or
I
is
have
it still
a couple
in
jokes about the baby. Yeah. But I also don't like to force it.
Yeah.
So I think like early on, just a couple things happened to me, and I was like, oh, that's funny. And I wrote it down. But I don't have like...
The baby chunk.
Yeah, they're more like jokes about kind of the beginning of it. I don't have like. So my son was doing this, but he doesn't do much yet. Yeah. So maybe when he starts talking, I'll write more jokes about him because it's kind of hard to write jokes about like a baby that lays there. Yeah. Like he pooped his diaper.
The baby's kind of boring.
Yeah. He just he cries sometimes, laughs sometimes.
You guys know what I'm talking about? Yeah. You know what I mean?
But I also have the fear of like I don't want that to become my identity.
Yeah.
Which I think like I don't know, like I talk sometimes about like my family background, and I've always kind of didn't want that to become only thing. Yeah. So I think as long as I talk about multiple things, that won't happen.
Isn't that such a weird thing? Like it's like a self-imposed, like the way that you see yourself, and like you don't want to be tied into one thing or another.
Yeah, because you kind of maybe insecure about like, oh, people are just gonna think I'm like the guy who talks about his Pakistani father, or
that's like your shtick.
Yeah.
And I think like that comes from something that was real. Like I think if you were in the '80s boom, you did the same material for 20 years, but it just isn't the case anymore.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like it's
not as common.
Yeah, and it's cool to see, especially as I've been doing it now for 10 years and seeing the same people, to see the trajectory of what they talk about change, which is fascinating.
Yeah, that's kind of, I think, slowly easing into my brain is the different things to talk about. Yeah. Or I think when I was younger, I was so much maybe more picky about the topics, or like, oh, that's hack, or this is that. And now I'm just like, I'm just going to talk about something that I think is funny.
Yeah.
There's like less of the filter. Like, obviously, you want to be original, and you don't want to talk about something that someone else has already talked about, but like I don't know, I think I saw like Patton Oswalt do like an airplane chunk, and it was amazing. And kind of like that, maybe that was like halfway through my career, and I was like, oh wow, like even though that topic is kind of tired, you can come at it with your point of view and make it interesting.
Yeah. Well, the ideal is that you have such a defined perspective that it's like whatever you filter through the machine of your head, it will come out as something that's never
unique,
been seen before.
So I think I'm getting a little bit more open in my brain of just, and then maybe because there's not as many ideas in there, so I'm just like, well, that's an idea, I gotta use it.
Well, yeah, it's all about that, like the preciousness of the time that you have.
Yeah.
It's like when you're in your 20s and you have all the time in the world.
I
just kind of meander through all this.
Yeah.
But now you got to be ready. Like, how long did it take for you to, or was it a culmination of things to get ready for the Colbert set, for a TV set? Mm-hmm. Is that something that you start with that goal in mind, or is it sort of like, okay, I've noticed I have enough stuff to kind of work towards that goal?
I would say, I guess like for my whole career, I was trying to get a late night set. Yeah. And maybe it was like I always felt like, oh, I have 5 minutes to put on TV. And then and I finally, maybe when I got like Conan, that felt like that was about 10 years in, and most of those jokes were like pretty newish, I guess. So
they weren't like the stuff that
they weren't. I mean,
because like some comics just sort of amass like a bag of tricks, and then it's like now I let it go, and then I gotta like.
Yeah, I think I was definitely like my best 5 minutes that I wanted to submit, or like you pick from your best 10 and see what they accept.
Yeah.
And then with the Colbert, it was kind of like I was maybe more picky or something like that. And I actually wanted to do a different set than I did, but it was still picked from like the things I gave them.
Yeah.
Like, here's 10 minutes, and they picked 6 or whatever. So that one was almost more because of the Conan. I was like, oh, I want it to not just be 5 minutes of stuff. I want it to be like the next thing or something.
Yeah, like a specific, like it's more honed.
Yeah,
it sounds like.
Yeah, or like kind of because it kind of makes me. I think early on when I just wanted a late night set, I didn't really think specifically what was appropriate for late night or even what appropriate for like a specific late night show. But then as I got older, I think maybe because I wasn't getting late night ones, it made me study it more and go like, oh, okay, like there's like certain jokes that work better on late night, and so even if I have a joke I really like, it might not be like a late night joke.
Yeah. You just sort of have to like swallow your ego a little bit and be like, okay, I'm not going to do this joke I really like. It's not appropriate.
Yeah, like sometimes with late nights, like you have to, who's your audience? Like your audience isn't you. Like I don't really watch late night that often. So maybe it's
scandalous.
Like, yeah, but like, so it's like mostly like, not tourists, but like older
more
people.
General audience.
Yeah. So you want to be like, you don't want to be broad, but you want something that people can relate to. It's fun to be a little weird and off, but you still want something that everyone can laugh at. So that kind of factors into it, I think.
You want to nail it.
Yeah. You want to, and you want it to be a joke that's going to work in front of that studio audience too. Because I didn't think about that at first. You're like, oh, this joke's great, but that crowd is not a comedy club crowd.
It's a weird situation.
Yeah, they've been watching a talk show.
And they're far away, and it's lit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But then it also will play different on the TV.
There's so many things
I always think about that. That's like what I picture. I like kind of putting some visual stuff in there.
Yeah.
Because I picture that little box around you and how playing with like that space of like, oh, you have like this around your head, and everyone's like looking right here.
And it's almost more important because way more people are going to see that.
Yeah.
And then now it's not even TV. It's on a phone.
Yeah,
so you have to think like this is the medium that I'm in.
Yeah.
And it's cool when people kind of break out of that.
Yeah, it's really exciting.
Bit. Like if you really wanted to be like super hyper aware of it, you could just just work on a set that never works in clubs but is a nice little rectangle, like perfectly.
All rectangle jokes.
So many rectangles. Hey, you guys noticed your button up here?
Just a lot of playing with people's phones.
Oh, that sounds so fun. I want to use the medium. Did your first set?
Mm-hmm.
Did it all land? Were you happy with it?
I think I probably feel better about that first set than the second set. Almost. I think.
Oh, really?
I think that one, I just felt like the crowd, I was connecting with each part.
Yeah.
There was maybe like one part where I was like, didn't get what I wanted, but it wasn't like it fell flat, but there was most of the parts I just felt like, yes, they got it. But I also feel like the opener I had was kind of my opener I go with almost everywhere because it kind of just will work anywhere. Yeah. I'm kind of shouting in it, so it's very in your face a little bit. Yeah. So there's something about it that I just knew. I had very like the other ones, even if it's a great joke, you're still like, are they going to like this first joke? Yeah. With that one, I just kind of, that was my most confident thing. I was like, I know I can come out here and lean into this really hard, and it'll work. Yeah. As opposed to like my next opener, which I still really liked. I was like, it could go bad. People could just not feel it, or even just like that first line isn't as like obvious of a like. Laugh right now.
That's such an adrenaline rush, high wire act. It's got to be to be in it. I can only imagine where the pressure is on to succeed. And if something doesn't work, you got to just
keep going. Yeah, keep going. That's what I kept telling myself too. Is like, if it goes bad, just don't look like it's going bad. Yes. Especially like you were saying, like in a little box. Like, if maybe the audience isn't laughing, but if you look like they're not laughing, that's even worse.
Because most people aren't
listening
to notice
that. They're just listening on their phone.
Heads. They're watching on the bus. So it's not.
But if you like gulp, they're like, "Ooh, this guy's doing bad."
It's been a while since I've seen a true bomb on TV. I think you can get away with quite a bit.
Yeah, they'll sweeten it up or something.
And I think when I saw Alan Strickland Williams do his set, I think they even retook some stuff.
Really,
they just,
that's
awesome. Ran it again.
Yeah, that I think that happened with when I did like the half hours. They let you do that. They're just like, if you mess up, just stop and do it again.
Because it's TV.
We'll cut it.
We'll get it clean. Like this is the advantages. Like all that shit you've gone through for years. That's
doesn't matter.
That's not TV. We can make this good. It must be nice to have two sets to also under your belt, because I imagine that does lower the pressure at some level.
For sure. I do feel, I think even when I just did the first set, it was like, if I do nothing else, I at least can say like to my kid, like, your dad got on TV.
He's on TV.
Yeah. Because if like I didn't, then I feel like my like 50s or 60s, I could be like, I did stand up when I was young, and you're like, yeah, you probably sucked, Dad. Now I could be like, but I didn't. I sucked not enough to not get on TV.
Not get on TV. I feel like I hear that a lot in Los Angeles. Like when I have a new job, there's always like, when they find out that I do comedy, they're all like, "Oh, we got somebody who used to do comedy," and then it's like trying to imagine what time period, how much
when
they did it, because they never seem like the kind of person who was like, Oh, I've heard of that.
I feel like there's a lot of like fallen soldiers from the 80s.
Yeah. There's a lot of ghosts in this town. Everything west of Fairfax is just ghost town in Hollywood. Yeah. It's just people still just wearing the same stuff that they were wearing in their best days. It's I hate it and love it at the same time. It's like a 3D cautionary.
Yeah.
It's just coming at you. Just hanging out at the store. Well, things are going great. You got yourself a beautiful baby boy.
Thank you.
You got yourself some TV credits. Mm-hmm. Your career's going. You're still going out on the road. Yeah, pretty regularly.
More than when before my son was born, which is weird. You know? Like now that I don't want to be away from home, I'm away from home more. Yeah. Well, I mean, but I'm not.
It's a double-edged sword.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, but your career is going well. Things are going nice. Now, I'm going to go ahead and strip everything away from you. I'll let you keep the baby in this scenario.
Yes, I still have a baby.
I haven't had that exit strategy where I take people's children away.
Yeah, that's the next step of the podcast.
That's a weird...
Your family's dead. What do you do?
That's the Patreon version. It's only for subscribers. But I'm going to take away the comedy aspect of your life. Okay. If you did not have comedy in your life, if that wasn't something that you pursued, what do you think you would do? What do you think your life would be?
So I was thinking about this on the way over, and I have like a few answers. Is that bad, or should I have one answer?
No, let's go through them all.
Okay, so I think the main one that pops in my head is like a chef or like a restaurant.
I knew you are a cook.
Yeah, I do love cooking.
Eating your food, and it's very good.
Thank you.
Damn good.
So yeah, that's kind of always the one I've thought about. Like, I still wouldn't mind doing that now, like open like a food truck or something like small.
Would you go through the formal training, or would you just kind of...
I would like to. I would like to do that still.
Yeah.
Because I've never been formally trained. I like cooking, but I don't, everything's just from either YouTube or testing stuff out. So I would love to, even if I still did comedy, take some classes.
We got to get you over to France.
Yeah.
We got to get you to do the
learn some sauces. So I would like to. If it was my career, for sure, I would take some classes.
Do it pro.
But I don't know if I would go to like college for it or like you know,
go through the culinary school.
Yeah, cause I feel like maybe you just take some classes on the side. Cause that would be a lot of time commitment.
It sounds like you're not like opening like a 5-star restaurant in Vegas.
Yeah, no, and that wouldn't be my dream either. I'd want it to be pretty small menu, street food kind of style.
What would be the main dish? Do you have a signature
dish? I do have
dish?
This one. Yes, I do. I do have a signature dish. It's a Burmese food.
Yeah.
Which is kind of similar to Thai. It's kind of like coconut and ginger.
There's a Burmese place.
Is there?
Right down the street.
Oh yes, there is.
I've had there. There's a delicious. It's a fermented tea salad. That is like their signature.
Tea leaf salad.
Really good.
Yeah, I love that. I eat that straight.
It's delicious. It's got so many textures and tastes that all perfectly work together. I don't think I've never really had a good education on what good food is.
Yeah.
And I've gotten it since I've lived here, where you realize different textures add different
things,
levels.
Yeah,
of thing.
And that's got like
everything.
crunchy and like soft, gooey, a lot of crunchy, I guess, in that stuff. But yeah, so it would be a Burmese dish, I think. It's like a soup. It's called Ono Kausware. It's this like chicken gravy, coconut, ginger soup.
Okay.
You put like noodles in, and then like you hit it with some like lime and lemon and some cilantro and onion and egg and like crunchy things. Yeah. Like chow mein type noodles and stuff like that. I could eat that every day for my rest of my life. So I think I would open like a food truck and call it like the spicy coconut.
Yeah.
And just serve that. Although it seemed, I told my dad about that, and we used to own restaurants. So like it's kind of part of why I would like to do that. Mm-hmm. And my dad worked in restaurants his whole life. Yeah, and I grew up like in kitchens and stuff. So I like that environment. It's very, you get like a rush from it. I feel like. But my dad pointed out that like soup isn't the best, like most practical. Like you can't eat it with one hand. So
I was gonna devil's advocate you with. I think you're gonna have to move somewhere a little colder.
Yeah, exactly, for sure. So that would be a dream if people love that. I think if people heard about the soup, they'd like it enough. It's similar to ramen, I guess.
I think that it could. Because not only are soups like really big between your pho and your ramen, Burmese I think could have a moment.
Yeah, that's the only problem with it is not that many people know about Burmese. Yeah. So it would be cool to be someone. If you go up to San Francisco, they do. which is really cool because going all over the country, I always look for Burmese, and there's maybe one in a city, and in San Francisco it's like 30. Whoa. And so so they have like a lot of competition, which really people know about it more. So the good ones are really good.
Educated about what to get. Yeah,
mm-hmm. Like here it's like there's maybe 4 I think in LA, and some of them have good dishes, some of them. Yeah, I mean I'm more picky because I kind of grew up with that food. But yeah, it's not. But when you go to San Francisco, it's like the best Burmese food I've had.
Spoiled.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I still think that it's. I think that you could do that. I mean, foodie culture in Los Angeles.
Yeah, if you did it right,
I think you could totally
the right advertisement, the right location. Yeah. If it was on a cold day, maybe I'd only do it on cold days.
Yeah, you got it's a winter business.
Yeah.
In the summer, you're stand-up. Yeah. In the winter, you're making soup.
When I was younger, me and my sisters tried to come up with a concept of, because my parents owned a Mexican restaurant, but they closed it, and we were like, we just missed that food. Mm-hmm. So we wanted to do maybe like a food truck style thing, and it would be like just tacos, which I guess now living in LA, that is literally half the food trucks. Yeah. But when we were younger, we were like, this would be great. You just have a truck and it's only tacos, but it would be tacos from like around the world kind of thing.
Yeah, different spices.
Yeah, like here's a chicken tikka taco, and here's
was it just the one Mexican restaurant, or did they have several?
So when I was a kid, my mom worked in an Italian restaurant.
Okay,
she worked there when I was born until I was about 10.
Yeah,
and then the owners, who were kind of like our second set of grandparents, were like just retiring, getting done with it, so they sold it to my parents. We ran that one for a little while, but the partner was kind of a corrupt guy, so we got out.
That's one thing I've noticed about restaurant businesses.
Super corrupt.
The business aspect of it sounds like
shady.
A nightmare.
Yeah, that's what I would want to just do, like a small food truck. Very like
just staff of 3.
Yeah, exactly. This was a huge restaurant with like a bunch of rooms. They would also do like a lot of catering. It was a really popular restaurant. Like Dom DeLuise would come in. Like a lot of like celebrities, because it was in Santa Barbara, so it was like a lot of celebrities really liked it. It was a really popular restaurant. But then what was interesting was we owned it for about 2 years. Then we got out, and then the partner kind of changed some of the recipes, and like the place crumbled in like a year. And, it was a successful
Don't
mess restaurant.
With success.
So it was also like kind of karma, because we didn't really like that guy. So we're like, you shouldn't have got rid of us. But then after that, they opened a Mexican restaurant, also in Santa Barbara, which they ran for about 1 or 2 years, and it was just so hard. I was doing relatively well. We were not a Mexican family, so that when we were in a Mexican neighborhood with a Mexican restaurant, so that was kind of going uphill. Like people were like, "Who owns this?"
Tough sell.
Yeah, but it did well for a while, and then it was in a little bit of a rough neighborhood. So like one night, someone got like shot outside in front of it. Like we weren't open, and it wasn't related to us, but that did like really kind of like hinder.
Now you question
stuff. Yeah, people were like, we shouldn't go over there. And then we just sold that and got out of the restaurant. Well, not my dad still worked in restaurants, but
he's not
the owning it is really
It sounds like a lot.
Yeah, that's kind of why it was my first choice of exit strategy. But I was also like, I do know that how stressful that would be.
Well, okay, so that's one.
Yeah, that's one.
What else do we got? How many do you got?
I think I have 4.
Okay, what do we got?
So
What's number 2?
One would be really quick because it's really too late. And but when I was younger, I really wanted to be like a hockey player.
Done.
Yeah.
And good night, everybody. Show's over.
That ended pretty quickly, but I do actually play hockey still, which is...
the athletics thing, though, is tough.
And getting checked all the time. That sounds awful.
You really got to start that in high school and never stop.
And be, like, dominating in high school, and then maybe you might make it.
It's such a weird mixture of genetics and drive. And,
but I do love the sport. So when I was a kid, that was my first dream, was to be a hockey player. And quickly, I knew I wasn't going to happen. I wasn't bad at hockey, but I'm not a big guy or anything, and they're all usually pretty huge.
Well, you can still get out there on those skates.
Yeah. It's been cool, but they don't check you anymore, which is great.
Oh, that's out.
When you're adult. Well, I guess like...
What do they do? Do they just sort of flag football style?
Well, you just like there's just no checking, so it's all just like it's like basketball. You don't check in basketball.
You don't get physical.
But I mean, you still kind of bump into each other and you can kind of rough each other up, but there's no like open ice like boom, because everyone has jobs.
The jersey over the
head. No fighting. Hopefully
that's
not.
Probably for the best. I mean, I'm just gonna go out on a limb. I don't know. Maybe there's a way we can combine soup restaurant, ice rink.
That's true. I should open a rice rink and serve hot soup in it.
All right, what's
so then another one. The other
one?
two, I was like not sure if they counted because they're still kind of in the like creative industry.
The creative world. Okay. We'll ask the judges.
Okay. One, I really, especially lately, like, whenever I'm on like set, I really love what like the art department is doing, like props or just kind of creating weird stuff for like a TV show or movie.
Yeah.
So I would like to work in the art department and just make weird shit.
What is it that appeals to you? Is it the design aspect?
Yeah.
Is it the craft aspect?
Yeah, both of those things. Yeah, it's like probably the craft element the most. My sister is like a director, and she wrote like a short film about having this machine that erases your memory for a movie. Mm-hmm. So you put a movie in this machine, it erases that movie from your memory, so you can watch it for the first time. And so for that, I helped her make these like hockey helmets that I just like hot glued a bunch of like fake electrical stuff on there and like some LED lights. So there's these two like kind of 80s looking weird helmets that the actors would put on, but I had so much fun making it. Yeah. And I just get like really high and just like, oh, what about some weird thing on the side over here that looks like important? Yeah. And I just find that stuff really exciting.
It seems also like a really fascinating environment to work in because like I don't know if you've probably been in prop shops before. Yeah. It's just they got everything all over the wall.
I know, it's crazy.
Everything's classified like, oh, those are the old bowling trophies. Those are the sharks, like the stuffed sharks.
Yeah.
Like, that's the guns.
I love
that's
that
the old
stuff.
guns. That's the new guns. Like there's so much stuff.
Yeah.
Just to be in that environment, I think would be kind of creatively stimulating.
Yeah, like the show I work on, it's pretty prop heavy or just a lot of weird creative stuff. And I always get jealous of it because a lot of stuff is like last minute, you know. It's like, oh, we should have a thing that does this, and then some guy just goes away and like hammers away at a thing and comes back with a pretty cool looking thing.
Yeah,
you're like, yeah, that's awesome.
It's so amazing to me because I'm so used to my creative ability is to write, and I've also in other jobs, creative and non-creative, I've come to find out. Not everyone can do that, and I took that totally for granted.
Yeah.
But then not only am I seeing, it's like that person can't express themselves with a written word, but like I work in a social media marketing agency, so there's these people that are on Photoshop, on Adobe After Effects. They create these little pieces of art in 2 hours or less.
It's awesome.
I cannot do that.
Yeah.
It's just a different skill set.
Yeah.
So this guy in the prop department, it's just like the brain puts it together exactly the correct way.
I just love making stuff too. Like Halloween, I get really excited to do that.
Do you got like a big haunted house situation going on?
Ooh,
wait, with the new place, do you have haunted house?
Yeah, we got to. We didn't do it this year, but we actually weren't in there this year yet. So yeah, maybe next year.
Haunted house.
Yeah, we do go all out. A couple years ago, we did like a Halloween thing, and it was fun.
You got to do full on haunted, like one of those haunted houses where like they can touch you.
Yeah,
where you have to sign something.
I think our bathroom we put like red blood in the tub and then weird creepy music. So every time someone went alone into the bathroom, it was just unpleasant.
It's kind of unnerving.
Yeah.
So we got the prop department.
And
what do we have?
The last
What's
one.
The last one?
When I was in college, I was a TA for like Theater 101.
Yeah.
And I really liked that. So teaching in general, but probably the only thing I could teach would be theater.
Yeah.
If it wasn't theater, maybe like history would be cool, but I was never very good at history.
Well, can I stop you?
Yeah, sure.
As a working comedian, could you not teach some sort of writing?
Oh yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't feel very strong in my ability to write in general. But like I can write for myself, and like I'm writing on this show, but I don't think I'm like skilled at it.
You don't feel like the authority to
like I can
it.
come up with jokes and I can be creative with where the story should go.
Okay.
But I'm not like great with structure, and so I think I would be a pretty bad writing teacher.
Yeah.
I would just be like, I don't know. What do you think? That's probably good.
How much am I paying for this class?
So yeah, I think either theater to like high school kids. Probably high school, I think, would be fun.
That's your age group.
Yeah, I think they're old enough where you can kind of talk to them, and you're not just like trying to like rile them. I mean, I'm sure in high school they're still pretty rowdy.
Yeah, there's still like some rough edges, but I've noticed because I worked at a school
Mm-hmm.
and I worked in a high school. There you.
What
I
did
think
you do?
especially with that, I just worked in like it's a long story, but there was a super rich private school, so it looked more like a college. So they had like a campus bookstore. Oh. So I worked in the campus bookstore.
Okay.
But one of the people that worked in the campus bookstore was a actress outside of school, and all the theater kids always came in to hang out with her. And the maturity level between your average high school student and the theater department kids was always off the charts.
Really?
They were just more aware of the world around them.
Yeah, because you kind of have to be, or like you're supposed to be a student of life, I guess.
Yeah, they just felt like people that I would be more inclined to actually hang out with as an adult than any of the other kids.
Yeah, and I really loved like theater when I was in high school. I was pretty shy about it, so it was kind of I would like to be someone that could maybe cultivate like, oh, come out of your shell, or be in the prop department if you're too scared to get on stage, but be part of this world.
Don't close in because you're not going to get anywhere with that. I think that is an important role. Like the teaching is a very thankless job, but the mentoring aspect of it is
I really like that.
Super important.
In college, I taught Theater 101, so it was all people who didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
You know, it was like an elective. I mean, some of them want to be there, but they were all not theater majors.
Yeah.
And so it was really fun to try to win people over.
Yeah.
You'd have like, I think you started with like 100 students, and then you cast half of them in a play, and then the rest you sent off to like other things. And
Wait, what are the other things?
Like, so some people would build the sets, and some people would be like,
I thought they just were like, they get coffees.
Well, there was a lot of like, there was one guy that would throw coins at me.
What?
And he was just a really mean guy. He was like a baseball player, and he just kind of knew that he could bully me a little bit. And I just sent him away to like, I was like, you are not in the cast. And I think he kind of wanted to be, but I was just like, no, dude, you're not in the play.
You blew it. Coach says
so
you
weird.
blew
Like,
it.
I was just like, because I was on stage. Because some of the classes were not in stages, but I luckily got like one with a stage. So like talking, and I think I turned around and just like quarters would like hit the stage, and I'd be like, is someone throwing quarters?
Come on, man. Wait, but what's the age difference between you and the kid who was throwing quarters?
Like 3 years.
That is weird.
Yeah,
That
it
is like
was.
an
That's why high school would be great. I mean, I guess now I'm a lot older than a college kid, but something about high school I think was more fun. The thing is like a really important time in your life.
Yeah.
Not that college isn't, but
high school is where like you figure out.
Yeah.
That's where you figure out like, okay, am I going to stay in this town or am I going to do something else with my life? And they're going to be like, oh, Mr. Bharoocha said that I could be.
Go get out there.
Go do it. Go do it. Well, I think that would be a damn fine little exit strategy as well. Now, we've got 4 options. I'm going for hockey player.
Hockey, yeah, me too.
But I guess let's rapid fire this.
Sure.
With all these, would you find the same creative fulfillment that you do now in each of these? Like, let's say chef.
Yes, but the thing that I would miss with that is like stand-up is you see that everyone enjoying your thing.
Yes.
When I used to work in a kitchen, it was great to get the food out, but then you're not going to sit and watch the people eat the food.
Yeah,
unless you're like a sushi chef or something.
You're in another room.
Yeah,
sort of.
So it's kind of thankless a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they're like, "Hey, they loved it. They told the chef it's great."
That's rare.
But yeah, so that part
I should do that way more often than I do. Like, why aren't we always complimenting the chef?
Yeah.
It's just like something you see in a TV show.
Compliments to the chef. Like
okay.
At Applebee's, like what? All right.
These chicken strips are divine, a revelation.
I think maybe the one that feels like I would be creatively stimulated the most would be the props department.
Yeah,
because you're making the thing and you're like, look, here's the thing, and then the people go, oh, this thing's cool,
and it lives on.
Yeah, and you can watch it in the movie or something. With the kids, I think that would be maybe the most fulfilling.
Yeah.
Hopefully, if it went well.
Oh,
the kids just hated you, you'd be like, this sucks, man.
I'm not good at this.
And hockey player, no, I don't think creatively you'd be very stimulating.
Yeah, I mean, unless you somehow became a superstar, like mega hockey player,
yeah,
then you got to do like a movie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you don't. I mean, I guess like a deke is in itself somehow creative, but it's like, man, I thought of the best deke yesterday.
The only person that's going to notice that is going to be like some like sports talk radio guy, and you don't want to.
Yeah.
You don't want that to be your audience. Well, then I think maybe the way to go would be to either props or shape young minds.
Nice. Well, now I have something to lean on.
Yeah.
That's good.
Are you going to be a stage parent when your child is?
I hope not. I don't want to I don't want to encourage him to do that, especially because I don't want him to just be like, "Well, that's what my dad does, so I got to do that." And but I mean, if he wants to, I'll be cool.
Yeah.
But I don't think
both of his mom and dad have entertainment backgrounds.
I know.
So
he's
it
doomed.
might just happen.
He's doomed.
If your son came up to you 18 years from now and said, I want to move to New York City to pursue stand-up comedy, what would you say to them?
I'd be like, go do it.
Yeah.
I think like whatever he wants to do, I'll let him do it. But I don't know if I want to. The word enable is bad, but like if he's like 15, I'm not gonna be like, now let's get you a headshot. And I think if he does it himself, then it's great. Like if you're gonna move to New York and you're gonna go survive out there, that is the best thing ever. Whatever you want to do, I'm proud that you're going and tackling it and
doing something.
Yeah,
it's an adventure.
Yeah. But I don't want to be like pushing him into it or.
Yeah, the getting your kid's headshot phase that's troubling when we really think about it.
Like my commercial agent when he was born, they're like, "Congrats! Does he need an agent? We can be his agent." And I was like, "No."
Hey, you got to pay for those diapers
somehow.
I know.
Someone did. I was like, "Oh, okay, maybe just as a baby, he won't remember." But
yeah, cut it off at age 3.
When he starts knowing what rejection is, I don't want him to be like. It's so sad. You go to these auditions and just see like 5-year-old kids who know how to sign in and get their sides.
They know like the terminology and stuff. Once your child says pilot season, it's all over. Oh. Well, keep him safe.
Yeah.
In the entertainment world. Well, I think that we've come upon one of the two. We've got it down from 4 to 2.
Yes. No hockey.
No hockey.
No cooking.
No cooking.
It's too much work.
It's too much work. Well, you can still do it on this side.
I'll cook at home.
Do you want to go on record as confirming one, or do you want to stick with just the 2?
I'm going to go with props.
Props.
Because even though the kids would be more rewarding, I do think it would be super stressful.
Yes. You get summer off.
I mean, all jobs are going to be stressful. But summer off.
Wow, that's just... we got to go another hour because... okay, well...
I'll go theater teacher. Theater teacher
in the prop department.
Yeah.
How
yes. Ooh,
Put
great.
them together.
Props
fuse them
teacher.
Together. And then also you coach the hockey team and you work in the cafeteria.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom.
Done it.
It's all about exit strategy, consolidation on this show. All right, well, we're going to take a little break. We're going to come back. Ahmed's going to choose the sponsor for this week's episode. And it's going to be, I'm going to go on record right now and say it's going to be the most exciting time of all of your lives. We'll be back in
Oh, God.
It's a lot of pressure. We'll be back in just a little bit. Ahmed Bharoocha.
Hello.
We've taken a little break.
Nice little break.
We did a lot of stuff. Ahmed was doing a little mise en place. He's working on... I am forever indebted to the Food Network for the phrase mise en place.
That is a fun word.
And whenever we're making anything, even if it's just eggs and toast, we have to do the mise en place.
So is that like the extra stuff,
Mise
the
en
side
place.
stuff?
Mise en place is when you get all of your ingredients together and you prepare them, and then you put them in little cups.
Ooh,
so that
I
you're not
love
like chopping while something's cooking.
I love mise en place.
The idea is that you have everything ready so you don't like lose time.
I've started to do that as older I get.
That changed my life.
It is so much better. And then the cleanup is easier.
Yeah. That between next Food Network star and a couple of months of Blue Apron, I'm like, okay, I kind of can see how cooking could be an enriching part of my life. Oh, anyway, that's enough about that. This isn't a Blue Apron sponsored show. We don't have any sponsors because we have the guest choose a sponsor. Every week we have the guests come in, and then hopefully maybe we can get you a little sweet sponsorship gig on the side.
I hope so.
Let's see what happens. So, Ahmed Bharoocha. Who is the sponsor for this week's episode?
This episode has been brought to you by Nature. She's out there.
I'm not even joking. I would love to see a commercial with the tagline, Nature. She's out there.
She's waiting for you.
So you're a fan of nature?
Yeah, I do. And also I'm looking over your shoulder seeing the Zion National Park thing. All these things.
Yeah, we have a lot of national park posters.
Maybe we'll subliminally put into my
That's the
brain.
theme of my kitchen is getting out of my kitchen.
I love it, yeah.
But so you must travel. You must do some
I've started to
really
really try to make that a priority when I travel. Like before, I think sometimes just stay in your hotel or just do whatever.
Yeah.
Now I try to find at least one like outside thing to just walk around, relax. Kind of just takes you out of whatever bullshit's bothering you.
In the moment.
Yeah. Look at some trees. Look at some water. Hear the rustling of the water. See some animals.
What is your go-to ecosystem?
Ooh. I like a nice little river.
Yeah.
You know, rivers got like. Is that an ecosystem?
Well, I guess is it wooded or is it?
Wooded. Yes.
Yeah.
You like I like the woods.
Okay.
Yeah. I like trees. Trees are my favorite.
Trees and then some flowing water.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a good combination.
Then it's got like you got like a little path, a destination. There's some motion.
And a little there's ambient noise too, like a river stream or like a little waterfall.
Yeah, I love that.
Oof,
love it.
Now you're.
But I would like to be up high though too. If there's like a mountain or like something you could see it. So
sounds like you would like to do like a Yosemite.
Yes,
thing.
love Yosemite.
Is that your go-to? Wait, if you had, all right, we're planning a vacation. Where in the country, where in the world would be your nature hotspot?
Maybe Scotland. I recently went to Scotland, and that was very beautiful, very green and serene and calm. Like, went to this one place. It was some lake that was just fishermen lived there, and it was so calming. And like, there was this boy. He was like 17 years old, thick Scottish accent. And I was just like, "So did you like move?" He's like, "Oh, I grew up here." Like, and I was just like, "Whoa!" It's just been your
world
life.
apart.
Yeah,
because not only is it isolated, it's also technically still an island too.
Yeah,
so it has like island culture, and isolation, just in the land.
Wow. Yeah, that was beautiful. I would try to do that again.
You got to make it out to Scotland. Is there anything on your bucket list, nature wise?
I would like to go to like the Amazon or something, or the rain. Was the rainforest the same thing?
No, I think the forest is going to be like. You could be pine trees or snow, but then the rainforest is where it's like there's that feeling of humidity that's just like on you.
Well, I don't like that part,
and that kind of comes with the territory.
But I would deal with it. I would put up with it. Something like big and epic, like the rainforest, or just something where you're gonna like things might kill you. Like I'll be safe about it, but I want to have to be safe.
I know that there could be.
I need a guide.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I would.
Yeah.
Cannot do this alone.
I'm not just gonna Google map it.
Yeah.
And be like, I think it's over here.
We'll wing it. GPS has one bar. I think it'll last. So when you go into nature, what do you do? What is your activity? We're talking about nature. Let's say what should people be doing once they get there?
I like to walk. I like to keep it moving. I like to smoke a little pot. It's kind of nice, relax. Or not. I mean,
no.
Bring a pot and cook out of it.
That's my new character, guy who doesn't like pot.
Yeah. Okay.
That's come on. There's kids.
We'll edit
listening.
that out. I know. Now that I have a kid, I'm like, this stuff's just gonna be on the internet, and he's gonna be like, "You did smoke pot."
We're gonna boost the audio level on that actually when you say it.
I think just kind of walk around. It's nice to go with another person sometimes. Have a little conversation. Just think. Put your phone away.
Yes.
Maybe have a little notepad. Sometimes that's a nice place to write.
Yeah.
Just walking, looking around.
Put your brain in a different place.
Yeah.
A little bit. Yeah.
Breathe in and out.
Take it in. Take in the majesty.
Relax.
You are but a small creature on this planet.
Yes.
There's way more out there than
you.
Whatever you're worried about.
Exactly.
So don't stress. Just enjoy being.
Oh, the ocean too. I didn't say the ocean, but I do love the ocean because I feel like that makes you feel like that the most.
Yeah.
That you're just this small.
Yeah.
Everything
around you is just miles and miles of water.
Yeah.
Deep water.
Ooh,
Wow.
I like it.
What are we doing all cooped up in this
Let's
apartment?
get out.
We got to
Yeah,
get out
let's
there.
get out there.
Well, you heard it here from Ahmed. Go out there, find some nature. Google nature. Google map it. See where the closest nature is.
She's out there.
Nature. Can we get that clean?
Nature. She's out there.
I'll put in some like forest sound effects for that, and then I'll be like a little. All right, Ahmed, when you're not out in nature, you're out there on the road, you're out on TV, you're out on phones. If someone's listening to this podcast and they don't know you, what would you point them to kind of give them the Ahmed Bharoocha experience?
I would say check out my album on iTunes, Almond Badoody. I'd really like people to watch the show Dream Corp on Adult Swim. The first season is out there on, I think, things like Hulu, maybe.
Yeah. You probably got your parents' cable password.
Yeah,
Just
log
it in.
Steal it. Those things would be cool. Dead Kevin on YouTube.
Is Dead Kevin still making new stuff?
Every once in a while,
Yeah.
we have one in the can that we haven't put out, and
Yeah.
I think we're going to shoot one with my baby, a baby sketch.
Oh, boy.
But it just takes us a lot longer than it used to.
Yeah. Well, Dead Kevin, just to bring everyone up to speed, is a sketch group with you, Jack Robichaud, and Ryan O'Flanagan.
Yes.
And I would recommend the back catalog.
Yeah,
I was just curious
really,
if you had some new stuff.
We're pretty slow about it now. Like, we just takes us, because we used to do like every week. Yeah. And then once we stopped doing every week, it's like, hey, let's do another one. All right, next week. Oh, man, I don't know. I'm out of town.
I'm busy. Well, check out Dead Kevin. Check out the album. Check out Dreamcore.
Yeah.
Check out Nature. You might bump into
I'm
Ahmed.
out there.
You might be out there. Nature. He's out there.
Yeah. I'm waiting for you.
Well, thank you for coming out here and discussing exit strategies. Glad to see you. Now you got to get back home and put that baby to bed.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
Ooh. We'll see you all next week. Bye.
Bye. Nature. She's out there.